Hey everybody, welcome back to the Extreme Weather Zone. In this video, we're going to be looking at the huge winter storm that's supposed to bring 1 to 2 feet of snow to parts of the northern plains, as well as the potential for severe weather today all the way through possibly Tuesday. If you're new here, please share the video, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more detailed weather updates. So right now, looking at the current satellite imagery, we can see the huge winter storm. We have a kind of a low pressure center kind of over eastern Colorado. That's actually helping to generate severe thunderstorms to the east of that low pressure center. And so we're having severe thunderstorms actually in Kansas, central kind of western and central Kansas, and also western Oklahoma, all the way down into Texas. And this is kind of the severe weather event. And then to the north, we have a lot of moisture interacting with colder air that's going to be producing really heavy snow. It already is, really. The National Weather Service has winter storm warnings all the way from eastern Montana across North and South Dakota, Minnesota, even into Wisconsin, where there's going to be heavy snow. And then we also have blizzard warnings over central Nebraska and some portions of northwestern Kansas and eastern Colorado because of all this heavy snow. And there's going to be some really strong winds because we have high wind warnings further to the south and wind advisories all through the central and southern U.S. because of this storm. So this is a big deal. And then we also have, I think, a severe thunderstorm watch in central Kansas and central kind of western and central Oklahoma, all the way into parts of northern Texas. Looking at the NAM 3-kilometer model, we can see that 6 p.m. Central Time, you can see all that really heavy snowfall across all the way, over portions of the Rocky Mountains, all the way over across the Dakotas, over into Minnesota and Wisconsin, where it's really heavy right there, right now, and over the next couple hours. But then, as we take this forward, you can see some really extremely heavy snow near the low pressure center, as well as the potential for a small area of freezing rain, actually. But some really heavy snow on the back of this system as that colder air is coming down into eastern Colorado and central Nebraska. You could have some really heavy snow tonight into early tomorrow morning. And then this over time, it seems like it starts to lighten up, and then we actually get rain on top of where there was all this snow up in Wisconsin and everything. The warmer part of the system brings rain to Wisconsin and even the upper peninsula of Michigan, and basically just ruins all the snow that they just got. But areas further west are going to they're just going to stay all snow pretty much. And then it actually changes back to snow. This would be on Tuesday morning. It actually turns back to snow as the back of the storm rolls through. And then by later Tuesday night, the system moves away. There's going to be a lot of snow with this system. There's two parts to the system. One is the huge, massive winter storm blizzard conditions in central Nebraska and everything like that, but also we have the severe weather side. But first, the snow. There could be 1 to 2 feet of snow in a track that kind of goes from eastern Colorado. Really, even the Rocky Mountains are going to be getting snow on top of the snow they have already gotten. They could get another couple inches in some of the higher elevations and just kind of snow showers on the back of the system. They get anywhere from 1 to 3 inches in a lot of places. In North Dakota, they could get 1 to 3, maybe 2 to 4 inches as you go further in southeastern North Dakota. South Dakota could get generally maybe 1 to 3, 1 to 4 inches over most of the state. Montana, Wyoming, maybe an inch or two. Colorado, they could get maybe 6 to 12 inches on some of the higher mountains, maybe a little more than that. We'll see that in a minute, but central Nebraska could get apparently the additional snowfall. This really adds up tonight and early, kind of through Monday. Really all this snow adds up, especially in central Nebraska. You're gonna get some really heavy snow on tomorrow, but there could be apparently the total snowfall from the storm. But remember, as you go further east, there is rain that could interfere with this. But in central Nebraska, there could be 1 to maybe 2 feet of snow in the central Nebraska, and then as you go further up, South Dakota could see 10 to maybe 15 inches of snow in eastern South Dakota, and then Minnesota it also really adds up here, where you could have 12 to 18 inches, maybe as you get closer to like Duluth, Minnesota, maybe close to 2 feet of snow. And then Wisconsin also maybe anywhere from about maybe 6 inches to 12 to 18 inches in northwestern Wisconsin. And then Iowa could get maybe an inch or two in northern Iowa. But remember, there's going to be it's going to shift between rain and snow back and forth. So over there. So it could kind of mess up those snowfall totals. In Colorado, the Rocky Mountains could get, several feet of snow in the higher peaks. But other than that, maybe 6 to 12, maybe 12 to 18 inches in certain areas in eastern Colorado. You could have maybe nothing in some parts of eastern Colorado, but then you could have maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow in some of these areas, maybe closer to a foot even. This is basically where the blizzard warning area is, kind of right there, mostly. So the thing is you're going to have all that snow with those strong winds. You could have 1 to 2 feet of snow from northwestern Kansas all the way through central Nebraska, where you're going to have some of the heaviest snow, and then about a foot going from eastern South Dakota through Minnesota into northwestern Wisconsin, where you could get closer to 15 to maybe 20 inches. That's the winter weather side of this. But also there's the severe weather. And right now there is a day 1 enhanced risk of severe weather for kind of portions of northern central Oklahoma and part of central southern Kansas. And this is actually a 5% chance of tornadoes. So there's a few tornadoes will be possible from this. And then, but the main threat is actually hail. You have a 30% chance of hail and a 15% chance of damaging winds. Right now, you actually have some of those supercells firing up in Kansas and Oklahoma, even down into far northern Texas. You have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. You have a severe thunderstorm watch for the next 4 hours. And the thing is, so right now, we're having some of those severe thunderstorms firing up from Kansas, and this is the HRRR simulated reflectivity. This shows over the next couple hours, even as you get closer to maybe 7 p.m. or so, this is 6 to 7 p.m., you have some of those supercells in southern Kansas going through Oklahoma and into northern Texas. And the thing is as we actually saw the SPC, they do have a slight risk of severe weather all the way down into portions of central Texas. So that's the thing. The severe weather does extend further south. And then as we look at this, these storms kind of go eastward, and then it starts to form a line early Monday morning. As this actually, the thing is, at first we noticed the low was right here, kind of spinning up those supercells near the low, which would be the most favorable point for severe weather. But down here, the low is much further away. It's actually moving off to the northeast with all that snow, and then you don't have as much favorable conditions for severe weather right then in Texas, as this kind of, that kind of falls apart on Monday, but it will extend further eastward, as we'll see in a little bit. But if you look, there is some of that. You do see at the 500 millibar level, there is some pretty favorable kind of some pretty favorable kind of upper level, or this is mid level kind of diffluence kind of happening over where these storms would be. That is favorable for severe weather. And then you have, I think the low level jet is pretty strong, but the instability is not that great. As you can see, it's like maybe 1,500 joules a kilogram in these, in kind of near that low pressure center, and then you kind of get like maybe 1,000 joules, which is not, that's some kind of weak to maybe moderate instability. But then in central Oklahoma, you kind of do have some more of that weak instability. But this is at night, so it's, you're not really going to have some great severe weather by then. So you look, the supercell composite isn't too bad. It's actually up to possibly like almost to a 10, maybe an 8 down in central Oklahoma. But so if there was more moisture with this, more, and maybe even more instability, could generate a big severe weather event. But it won't, because I don't think it will, because there's not that much moisture. And then also on Monday, this is the next day of severe weather. Yeah, they do have a day 2 enhanced risk of severe weather for kind of eastern Louisiana, western Mississippi, and this is a 10% significant chance of tornadoes. So they are thinking this is going to be a, possibly a pretty intense tornado event, because this one doesn't really have much moisture with it today. But the one tomorrow, the severe weather tomorrow in Louisiana and Mississippi, it does. Because it's a lot closer to that Gulf moisture. As we look at the dew points, you can see that, yeah, the dew points are in the low to mid 50s in southern Kansas and central Oklahoma. Maybe they come up to near 60, so you could get a few tornadoes with this. But it's really bad tomorrow. You have dew points in the upper 60s, near 70 degrees. So this has a lot of moisture with it. The Cape it looks like there is some capping, so that could cause problems for it, but sometimes a slight cap could be helpful for tornadoes. So the Cape isn't in extreme, but there is a lot of moisture with that. And so we have the day 2 tornado outlook is a 10% hatched risk for tornadoes. So yeah, this could be a big deal if you're in eastern Louisiana or southwestern Mississippi. And also there's a 30% chance of hail with that as well. So let's look into Monday's severe weather. Basically, this is going through, this is like the afternoon on Monday. You have this kind of line of storms again, which, that's not going to necessarily generate tornadoes, except you can get some tornadoes within the line of storms. But then really what they're thinking about is some supercells. If those form in front of it, that's going to be bad. And so if that happens, there could be a very significant risk of tornadoes, and you can even have tornadoes embedded within a line of storms. And this is through about 7 p.m. on Monday, and then it probably fizzles out on Tuesday. As we saw, these dew points are not impressive for today, but tomorrow they are. And yeah, having dew points near 70 degrees, that could be a big problem. 500 millibar wind, there is a strong, pretty favorable pattern there. And then low-level jet stream, it is pretty intense. Like, this is This is the 850 millibar wind. This would be at about 4 p.m. on Monday. This jet stream is really intense, so the conditions are favorable for tornadoes if anything does want to develop. It's really, really favorable. That's basically a 75 mile an hour low level jet stream, that's really bad. So severe weather is going to be a big deal. The severe weather could be a big deal with this tomorrow. Then, behind this system, you actually have some really cold air that could bring wind chills to 10 degrees below zero in North Dakota. Even wind chills down to like the single digits in Kansas, and possibly the low 20s, maybe the teens in Oklahoma on Monday night into early Tuesday morning. You could have those wind chills get pretty low down there for a few hours, and then it kind of warms back up into the low 40s in Kansas, and then it starts coming back down. This system that kind of moves through with that chance of severe weather, it does look pretty significant for Monday. The potential is pretty high for some severe weather, but then on Tuesday, it kind of goes away, and then Wednesday, you don't really have much of anything except maybe some thunderstorms. We'll see if there is a chance for severe weather down in Florida on Wednesday, but then a new low pressure area does form, and then you get another system that kind of comes into the western U.S. We'll see if that actually leads to help fuel any severe weather around March 31st or somewhere like that. Thanks for watching this video. Please hit the like button, share the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Extreme Weather Zone,